What's going on, guys? Hey, Matt Weeder over here at Mortgage Celebrities doing a collaboration this week to start off a series we're going to be doing with Partners in Property. I'm lucky enough to be sitting here today with Frank and Rob, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Valley Partners. Frank and Rob have tons of good stuff to go over as we wrap up and go through 25 into 26. So, Frank, you brought a whole bunch of knowledge today for you and Rob to go over. So I'm going to kind of let you take it from here. Where are we going over today?
Thanks for having us first off, Matt. We're excited
Absolutely.
to be here. Just wanted to sort of do a rundown. It's been a crazy year. 2025 real estate market,
Yes,
especially
it
in
has.
Lehigh Valley, has been a little bit wild. I thought it would be advantageous to do a little breakdown, do a recap of 2025, and then talk about what we think 2026 is going to bring. So,
Awesome.
a
A lot of good info.
First off, I know there's a lot of different information out there. I know a lot of people hear whispers of different things, and I think what people have to remember is how local in nature real estate is and the markets are.
Yep.
And I think we're in a really unique market in the Lehigh Valley. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Excellent. Excellent.
Home sales are definitely down. You know, we're not seeing as many transactions happen. Prices have continued to go up, so it is considered a seller's market still in the Lehigh Valley. But at the same time, I think there's opportunities for buyers.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to dive into that a little bit today as well. And then I want to hear from you. I want to hear from
Okay.
the lending and the mortgage side and
Excellent.
say, you know, what do you guys have in the works, what you think 26 is going to bring, and how you guys can, you know, be a value add for us and for our clients.
Excellent. A lot of good news, especially going into this end of this year and beginning next. So, kind of getting through the clutter, and let's get really to the truth of the matter and get to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'll be the numbers guy.
That's right,
I have
Rob.
a little cheat sheet over here, so when Frank says something, I'll be sure to have the numbers to back it up.
Yes.
That's right. My stats guy.
There you go.
It's always good to have. You gotta have a stats guy.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. So I guess initially when we wanted to put this together, Rob and I have been talking a lot about trying to do continuous episodes. We want to make this, you know, something that's content that's continuous, you know, sort of a real life, real estate sort of related thing. So thanks for
Fantastic.
being sort of our first and our guinea pig for
we
it here.
need some real and reality. It sounds crazy, but that's
some
much
real
needed.
life reality too,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So yeah, on that front, I think it's really important going into 2026 to see what 2025 was, because it can be super competitive for buyers. But if you have a plan, if you're prepared, and you know exactly what you want, what you need out of the market, then there's opportunities there. So I think for buyers, what I always try to emphasize and what Rob and I always try to do is, it doesn't matter if you're just maybe thinking about it, or even if you just have questions or you're curious what's going on in the market, come in and sit down with us. Even with you, I like bringing you in for those consultations, because I think it gives them a realistic perspective. It almost gives them confidence too, to be like, okay, now I understand. I understand the process. I understand what to expect, the timeline that it might be. And then from there, we can build on that. We can get them pre-approved. We can look at the numbers, really analyze exactly what they're looking at. And what I see a lot right now too is a lot of my clients, they have a home to sell.
Yes,
So there's that
big
complication
time.
of, I really want to make that move. But
Yes.
so we're able to analyze that piece of it too. I know you guys have that great program. I think it's the Home Light program, where we can see if they qualify to be able to buy without selling their home.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's something that I don't think a lot of people realize is an option too. So I like going over things like that in that
I
consultation.
mean, you can't just Google search this. This isn't a.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
can
you
chat
can.
GPT it.
Yeah.
You
no.
can
These
chat
days
GPT
with
it.
technology.
No.
No, but I think they like they like the confidence of that person that's going to be the resource and their guide from your side of it too, and ours,
Yes.
saying, all right, here's the game plan, understanding what they want, understanding that we're in this together, that we're going to be there, you know, to guide them and to make sure this is done the right way for them too.
I can't say enough that what I see on the lending side with a lot of people coming in is you know, this is going to be, whether it's your first house, or especially if it's your first house, but if it's your fifth investment property or your second home, it's a big purchase, one of the biggest assets you're going to buy in your life. You know, my job as the mortgage lender is to put you in a large amount of debt. You know, I don't take that lightly.
Sure.
That's a very heavy responsibility.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why I pointed to earlier is Google search stuff. It as much as I love technology and it can help in so many ways, it could be such a detriment when you see the miscommunication, the misknowledge out there. about what really is going on. You hinted about earlier too, which I thought was good to kind of talk about, is the market and people coming in like, well, the market is folding or it's tanking or it's, and then being local with our market. I mean, can you guys touch on that a little? Because I get that all the time, and it's just I can't say it enough that it's not true for where we are.
Yep, I have that conversation a lot, and we do that consistently because people assume a certain thing. They see something in the national news, or they're on Google or they're on social media. I mean, there's so much misinformation because there's so much information. It can be overwhelming too.
Yes.
And then they're trying to process it. Every individual is different how they do that.
Yep.
And if you break it down and you simplify it to what's happening, even more micro, to like, all right, what neighborhoods, what school districts, where do you want to be? Because it could be different on one side of the valley to here.
Yeah.
So that it's so important to understand that from the buyer standpoint, and then it kind of calms them down a little bit too. They're like, okay, we'll get a little more hyper focused on where you want to be. Let's analyze that market. I think the Lehigh Valley in general, I'm going a little bigger here, is really unique because of where we're located. We have a super strong local economy.
Absolutely.
The jobs continue to grow. Values of the homes continue to grow. So people are sitting on equity, even the ones that were terrified this year or last year that they thought they were overpaying for their home, right? And now all of a sudden I'm there a year later and they're like, oh, wow, I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to emphasize that because that's not in every market.
No.
But it is here.
No.
But at the same time, the Lehigh Valley is unique. Lehigh and Northampton counties, their average sale price, median sale price, I'll let Rob go over that in a moment. But
Yeah,
it's,
I'm excited for the stats.
it's actually an affordable market in comparison to most of the bigger metros in the Northeast and on the East Coast even.
Yeah.
So buyers can actually get more for their money here, even though it's a competitive market. Sellers can get a good deal because they're sitting on equity.
Yep.
So it's kind of a win-win if you do this the right way for both buyers and
Doing
sellers.
it the right way. Yep.
So Rob, when we talk about the stats, when we talk about average sale price, median sale price, things like that, these numbers are significantly lower. That's something you can Google if you want to see, how we compare to the average around. But Rob, you want to run through those
let's
stats real
go
quick?
through it. So median home price in 2022 was $293,000, which was a 12.9 increase from the previous year.
You said 12?
Yep,
12.
12.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's
Okay.
gone up since, COVID 2020.
Right.
2023, it went up 8.2% to 317,000.
Okay.
And then at 2024, we're up 6.6%, which is now 337.
Yeah.
So, for 2026, we still see an increase. I think we've looked at the trajectory of the Lehigh Valley, and we've only seen house prices increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I actually like to see, and where those numbers, when I'm analyzing, it's important to me that you actually see the percent year over year has come down a little bit. A lot of people think a bubble's coming. It's too much increase in too quick a period of time. When you look at that, you're seeing it's balancing back out to healthy growth.
Correct.
Which we always expected it to do. We hoped it would do that because we don't want it to go the other way. We don't want it to be overinflated. And that shows healthy growth. That shows a healthy market. That's what we have in the Valley, and that's important to know.
Yeah, those numbers, especially too, and you hinted at it, which I kind of made a mental note for our median sales price and where we're going right now. You said about
337.
337. So let's call it 340. Go to, and I know I'm just going to go to California. Go to somewhere in certain parts of the Northwest. $340,000 for your median home price or your home sales price. That is a bargain compared to what it is out here to get the type of home that you're going to get, to have the kind of economy that we have here. Stability wise, I've been lucky enough. I've done loans in 3 different states over 21 years, and I came back because the stability of this area, on top of being from here, it drew me more than anything. The market fluctuation and sways. That's the media. All the negative stuff. They're going to take, like they do, their bits and pieces to generally draw the most negative picture, and that's just not where we are. Especially as we're recapping 25 into 26, I'm extremely excited for next year.
Yep.
I definitely can't wait with the trends that we're seeing with everything.
Yep, agreed. I think it's going to be a good year. I think there's opportunities out there. I'm still seeing that. I mean, we had young first-time homebuyers just recently closed that never imagined they could get into a renovated little single home, in a place like Salisbury, and we were able to accomplish that what the first or second offer that they
Second-
made. Second,
actually, first
no,
offer.
first offer that they
First
made.
offer, second.
You know,
one
and they
they've
didn't
seen.
they didn't have to do transfer tax. They didn't have to do any of those crazy things, and they were able to get into a home, and they were really excited. And it was way more than they thought they could get.
Yeah.
And you know, now they're not paying rent anymore. You know, they're building that asset and that equity.
Yep.
Stuff like that's so important to us. That's just as significant as the commission check at the end of the day when we get to give young people, especially in that generation that don't think they can afford a home, that opportunity, because I think that's the personification out there right now. I'll never be able to afford a home.
Yeah.
With the gym, sitting in the sauna, we had somebody that, you know, a young guy, that's what he said, I'm never going to be able to afford a home.
Yeah.
I'm like, when we just a little chat, you know, in a few minutes, we went from that to him being like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because of what he's paying in rent. It's like, it's possible.
Absolutely.
There's probably a way to do it. But those are the types of people that I'm saying, come in, sit down with us.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, really let's break it down so that you can understand. You can now be more knowledgeable as the consumer and come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Like it's almost always possible.
And you need the plan. It's almost like a roadmap. Like I always say when I have clients that I can't help right away with credit or something, I call it like a blueprint, like building a house. You got to have, like, if we're going to be driving to San Diego tomorrow, I'm not going to wing it. You know you're going to put that in your GPS or your MapQuest, and you're going to plan. It's going to tell you, make a left here, make a right here. You probably should stop for gas there. You have people helping you in this terms of your technology along the way to get to where you need to go. Well, you should do the same here.
Yeah.
And that's where so many people feel like the expense or how much it's going to cost, or it's going to cost you a lot more not. And that shows doing your homework, like those first-time home buyers. That's where all the programs, like I saw, you know, on my side going into from 25 to 26, there are tons of programs, lending programs that became available. So all the first-time home buyer programs that are available, on top of investors. You and I have worked with some great investors, purchased many properties through different types of loan programs where they go off the rental income to purchase the property, which is fantastic. And repeat buyers, you mentioned earlier in terms of sitting on a lot of equity. I feel 2026 is going to be a lot of people that are sitting on quite a bit of money. So my 2 cents in our today's talk is going to be, yes, you might be sitting on a 3-something rate. Great. You're saying, how can I get to a 5 or 6% rate? It's just going to blow your mind. It's just going to be astronomically expensive and high. I want to go back and say a 5 or 6% rate is the average rate. That's what it should be.
Right.
So I understand moving and going, but when you do the math and when you sit down with a mortgage professional, you might have a higher interest rate, absolutely, because the rates were so much lower because of COVID. But because of COVID, you also now, instead of gaining maybe $80,000 of equity, you have $200,000 worth of equity. So you put that money down on the property like you would anyway, then the math's not that bad.
No. And I like that concept too, because you have to tell people too, you're putting that money down, but it's not going away.
Correct.
Right? You have more to work with, but now you can make that move. You still have a reasonable payment, but now all that is sitting in equity in your new home that's worth more
Absolutely.
money. And
Absolutely.
I think that's where you have to and you have to get people comfortable with it too.
Yes.
Because the concept of they've already made the largest purchase they're probably going to make, right? And now they're going to make an even bigger one.
Yep.
Right? To get them comfortable and confident that this is the right thing to do.
Yes.
And it is the right time. And you just have to analyze that with them and get them to see there are lots of programs. There's lots of ways to pull this off. You know, we have to be unique, right? We have to be creative, think outside the box for buyers sometimes to make it happen. But that's what Rob and I love to do.
Yeah.
Like, give us a problem, we're going to solve it. Let's get it done for you.
Well, you can see with your track record history on all the closings that you guys have. First-time home buyers getting into homes, not an easy thing to do in this market still. It's very competitive.
Yep.
But you guys are getting it done successfully and saving them money, which is huge.
Yep.
So, you know, it all kind of goes into kind of summation with everything is being prepared for next year.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people, as we get in, we're in the holidays now, getting in, and that's where we talked earlier with both you guys on some great helpful hints and tips as we get into next year. You talked about getting with people, getting a blueprint. Is there a better time to do that? Should they wait till they're right before they're ready to buy a house? A lot of people don't know, like, when should I contact someone, or like, what should I do?
Sure.
As soon as you start thinking about purchasing a home is when you should give us a call. And I think it's just as important to give you a call as well. You mentioned, having a roadmap, and that's one of the first things that I always tell our clients is, after speaking to us and having our buyer's consult is the next step would be talking to a mortgage officer, just so that they're aware of what needs to be done, you know,
Yeah.
what they can do in order to make their offer a little bit more enticing when we actually start to put offers out there.
Yeah.
So there really is no time. I mean, as soon as you start to think that, hey, I think I'm ready to purchase a home, give us a call, and we'll figure it out, and we'll talk you through the steps, because it's a huge process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
There's
a
a
big
lot of moving
purchase.
parts. Yep.
Yeah.
And especially if they're sitting in a home, you know, a lot of times what we see right now is somebody's in a home longer than they wanted to be. So they're already anxious to try to make the move, but they just don't feel like they can. And then they have no idea what that timeline looks like. I'm like, guys, let's have a conversation right now, just so you understand where you sit. If for whatever reason, out of nowhere, the home that you absolutely love comes up on the market tomorrow, let's have a plan. It may not happen. It might not happen for a year.
Yeah.
But we can always re-up the pre-approval. We can always just refresh it and just keep going until that happens. But at least now you're prepared.
Yeah.
So when that day comes, you don't want to be the one sitting there and be like, oh my God, the dream home just came on the market. This is overwhelming. We're not prepared. Oh my God, what do we do? We have to list that. No, let's get all that out of the way. Let's get the game plan, the blueprint.
Yes.
Because you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yes.
So there's never a bad time to have that conversation with us. We'll always have it no matter what.
I can't tell you enough. If for my sum up of the whole thing from this into next, and I'm going to say it again and all through next year, it's going to be buyers sitting on a lot of equity that need to tap that in some way.
Yeah.
Home equity lines, bridge loans, whatever it might be. Resonates more so than ever. You need to get a team.
Yep.
You need to get a team involved.
Yep.
That's
You got to have a
such
team
good-
ready to go for you, right?
Yeah. That's such good info as we wrap up this year.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's going to be a great market. I think 26 has got tons of opportunities, but people need to be prepared because things can move quick.
Yeah, they're going
And
to.
that's the reality in our market with a limited inventory.
Yeah.
So you don't want to miss that opportunity. You don't want to be sitting on your hands and being like, oh man, we missed out on that one.
Yeah,
So give us a call, reach out. Let's get that game plan in place.
it's perfect. All right. Well, as we wrap into everything through this remaining part of the holiday season, we are going to have a ton of fantastic content. Frank's going to be driving and Rob's going to be driving, steering the ship of where we're going to go. Important topics, the real estate side of things that people really want to know and really need to know, not just kind of the fluff out there that you see on social media, but how it really works. So, guys, I can't thank you enough for coming in and
thanks for having us.
hanging out with the new studio. I cannot wait for the next one. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is, whatever platform you guys are on. We're gonna have so much good content coming your way. And thanks, guys.
Yeah, more content from Partners in Property and mortgage celebrities.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Take it
Take
easy.
care.